I call Carmel Cipollone.
Chair, the theme of this part of the debate is services to citizens, but I think we really need to rename it when looking at social development as disservice to New Zealand citizens, because that's what this national government have been doing, Mr Chair. And I want to start by saying that we agree fundamentally on some things with the national government. Yes, where possible, we think it is good to get people off benefits and into work. But, Mr Chair, what we've seen from the national government is this perceived drop-off in benefit numbers. But, Mr Chair, so many of our social services out there are saying this is not a drop-off, this is a cut-off. And what's happening, Mr Chair, is they're getting denied support at Work and Income New Zealand and other government agencies, and then they're getting referred by those government agencies onto our church-based organisations and our NGOs. Those same church-based organisations and NGOs have not had any increase in funding under that national government for over 6 years. They are under-resourced, and the demand on their services, because that national government is not helping the most vulnerable people, has skyrocketed through the roof. And, Mr Chair, I just want to say that that government is responsible for running some of our most charitable people into the ground, taking advantage of some of the goodwill that these people have, the goodwill of these very good organisations. That government is responsible for taking advantage of. They are working, Mr Chair, off the smell of an oily rag. They are talking about the fact that they have people coming to them who are being denied government support, who are on the verge of suicide. I am not making that up. They are telling us, Mr Chair, because we've been all around the country, that they have people going to them with high mental health needs who are being denied financial support by the government, and the last port of call for these people are these church-based organisations and NGOs that do not have the funding to support them, but what they do have is the goodwill to do the best that they can. So, Mr Chair, I think that this theme of this part of the debate should be called National's disservice to New Zealand citizens as opposed to service to citizens, because that government's doing nothing. And, Mr Chair, what I'm really concerned about are the long-term repercussions to the decisions that that government is making. So they're saying it's all about getting people out into work. Getting people out into work, no one will deny, is very important. But what are we risking here? We've got mothers that are being pushed out into work way earlier than what they would like to, with kids that actually need their support, with mothers who would like to be able to stay at home with them. But that government says, nah, you had that baby, you get out and work, we don't care who looks after it, we don't care about the quality of early childhood education that they're going to be exposed to, we don't care about the childcare arrangement, we don't care about the danger that that child might be in. You go out, you work that minimum wage job, you work your butt off, and let's not worry about the safety of you and your family or the long-term well-being of you and your family. Mr Chair, that's the real concern that we have on this side of the House, that it is just all a numbers game to the national government, that they think by reducing the numbers of people accessing welfare that they are winning. But that doesn't necessarily, Mr Chair, equate to more people going into work. And that doesn't necessarily equate to a healthier society. And we're not seeing a healthier society, Mr Chair. If you live in Auckland or even any of the other major cities around New Zealand, you only need to walk out to your nearest shopping centre to see that the levels of homelessness, the levels of people begging on our streets has increased dramatically under that government. That is a sign. That is a sign, and they shut their eyes at those things, Mr Chair, because they refuse to admit that they are responsible for the increasing social problems that we're facing as a country. Mr Chair, as I said, that government should be, this whole debate should be themed the national government's disservice to New Zealand citizens. Mr Chair, recently, what infuriates me even more is that that government, through social development, is dealing with the most cash-strapped New Zealanders that exist. And yet we saw, when we went through the annual review, that in particular areas, funding had increased significantly. And yet, Mr Chair, when asked, the ministry couldn't say where that money had gone to, and instead said it was a drop in the bucket. That minister said that's a minute amount of money. Well, Mr Chair, the $6.9 million that I pointed out, that I was asking questions about, that I was concerned about in terms of increase in funding and spending, was almost the equivalent to the $7.2 million that government had to shave off and defer in terms of funding programs that would have been really important to our people. They are doing a disservice to New Zealand citizens.